just shows like when we actually closed the acquisition. Randy and Gail had already they were into publishing, and I said, no, I'm not trying to mess this up. You know, like, are we still shipping on other platforms? Yes. Like, you know, I'm not trying to tell
Minecraft is everywhere. It's not this new thing.
Well, but there's no doubt going forward, these teams will be focused on stuff that we're doing. But I wasn't trying to buy a game away from a different platform. And I've been playing. We have reviewed the full game, not the game they put in game preview. And it's
I played a little bit of it about a month ago, and it plays a lot more like that initial reveal trailer in terms of just like, okay, there's a narrative and a through line to it, a little less survival-y.
Yeah, you know,
Plans a lot better.
I think it's a good example of a team that on its own had to use game preview to help them fund.
Sure.
Right? Like, so if you're a standalone team.
Okay, guys, let's do this.
Okay.
Test. Test, test, test.
Who wants a beer?
I got one.
Yeah, you do. Hey, my Diet Coke Select team took one. Guess he's just a liar.
Have color. All right.
Yeah.
Test. Test. Hey. Actually, I want to hear what this sounds like. Let me. Have color. All right. Test.
That's a recording, I think.
Yeah. This is the mixer. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna change it, and we'll see what this sounds like. I think this might be better. Test. Hey. No, that's not better. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So razor. Okay. So it is the GamesBeat Decides podcast day something at E3. We are. I mean, honestly, E3's over, right?
Almost. Nothing happens in the last day. God, I'm leaving early for my plane ride anyways. I'm barely doing anything tomorrow.
Yeah. So we have one more day where, basically you think about traveling. That's what you do on the last day of E3. So it's the home stretch. We've seen everything today. We've done our things. Anything sticking out to you guys? Have you guys decided what this is the E3 of?
It's not the E3 of much of anything, is it?
I don't think so.
It's a really good E3. I thought I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, the what is it? The E3 of thing is always kind of silly. It's basically just
us
seeing like a lot of games have bow and arrows this year.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's a bizarre resurgence of zombie games. Like, you see zombies walking around the hall. You're like, which game are you promoting? Is it Dying Light 2, Resident Evil 2, is Days Gone, or Walking Dead?
And both Walking Dead.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the answer was, I think, Dying Light 2.
Dying Light 2.
Oh,
or those
really?
ones. There are other zombies.
I think I saw Plants vs. Zombie too. So,
Oh my god.
so there you go.
Zombies.
Yeah, that is the one thing you always got to figure out which zombie game they're from.
I mean,
The
it's
series coming back to life.
Yes.
it's kind of an E3 of doubling down, I guess. Everybody's sort of entrenched and sort of doing their thing.
Right, and I think everyone's starting to figure out E3, like what it means for them, like as a company. I mean, Take-Two didn't even have a booth because they have a Rockstar game coming out.
And a nice party.
Yeah, they had a nice party. It was pleasant, but what do they need a booth for if everyone's just going to buy Rockstar games anyhow? Which it will
Well, it's
probably
weird
happen.
that like they even have booth space.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're saving it for years where they feel like they do need it. But because once you if you give that up, you can't get it back.
Oh,
so
really?
you have to get it every year.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. At first I was thinking it was the year of maybe like interesting traversal, like Spider-Man and Anthem and Dying Light. But honestly, after those games, there wasn't too much that was like, oh, we're gonna get you up off the ground all the time.
Yeah. Corey's kind of like that, but I mean, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. But
I mean, that's just a lot of games have. Yeah, I don't know. It's like you can't. You could try to force something here, but.
Right. Exactly. And I don't think we will do that because I don't think there's really
Yeah.
much to force, much to work.
It's the E3 of me.
Oh no!
It's for me. No, it's good.
No, it's bad.
Why?
What about the
Because
rest
it's you.
of us?
Well, it's good for me. Hooray! I like everything.
Something that I thought was interesting was there wasn't a lot of VR in the press conferences beforehand, but when I went to Indiecade, 25% of those games were VR.
You see more VR at indie stuff than you do at the AAA stuff right now.
Oh,
Really.
yeah. I mean, it takes up so much space, and it's not. It is going to create a line, but it's not going to drive a lot of press in or anything like that. So it's. Yeah, I don't know. I get why big companies don't do it. Although Sony, in the back of their VD Arcade thing, did have all of theirs lined up against the back wall, just like they have for the last 2 years. So
I didn't even see a lot of people playing Beat Saber on PSVR though, which I was surprised. I feel
It's
like
kind of
the
a
line
known
was
quantity,
so,
right? I mean,
but everyone loves that game.
but it's out though,
so
right?
good.
I mean, I guess people don't have VR, so they still want to
they
try
don't
it.
have a Rift, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was surprised because I was very excited. I've been very excited about all the new VR stuff coming out.
It's been getting interesting, I think. Again,
Yeah, I think so.
which is cool. I mean,
Yeah.
Beat Saber's very neat.
You think so?
Love Beat Saber. You should try it.
VR and.
What?
He does. It's a defense mechanism, so he doesn't have to like things that he might have to spend money on.
I spend money on a lot of things I like.
Yeah, I know. And so you're trying to avoid liking more things.
Yeah, it's cutting into your amiibo fund.
Yeah.
You can't see that Ridley amiibo. It's pretty sick.
Yeah. I don't know. So I mean, we saw some stuff today. But I mean, I guess we can get into that pretty soon. But anything else? You guys I mean, I wrote this thing today about Sony and Fortnite because that kind of felt like a big
It's interesting, but it's almost not really an E3 story per se. It's happening during E3.
No, the only reason I think it's an E3 story is because I think it is overshadowing whatever's happening at E3,
bit,
especially for Sony. Like, it's what people are talking about instead of talking about their games.
Right. It is just so funny how cyclical these things are with, like, Sony, like, when they're, like, not doing that great, they're very likable, and they, like, are bending over backwards, like, consumer-friendly things.
Hey, it seemed like it happened really fast this time.
As soon as, like, they're on top, like, oh, no.
Let's explain it real quick, just in case people don't know. Fortnite came out on the Switch on Monday, or Tuesday. It was Tuesday morning. It hit the Switch for the first time, and so for the first time, a lot of people were going to play it on a different system than the PlayStation 4 where they may have started it. And if you do that, what happens is you'll see you cannot sign in with your Epic account on this system. There's nothing Epic can do about this. It's basically what the error message says. What that means is Sony is blocking your Epic account from shifting from PlayStation to Nintendo or Xbox. It doesn't care if you take it to the PC, doesn't care if you take it to mobile. But if you try to use it on another console,
there's absolutely no justification for it anymore, right? They can't even pretend to be like they're protecting people. It's just because it just is very obviously we don't want to, like, promote you playing video games on other systems.
Right, yeah. It's like they can maybe pretend like, oh, Sony got hacked really bad that one time, so that happened to us. But it's like, everyone knows that's not a critical, vulnerable vector of attack for hackers.
Yeah.
No one's going through the Xbox to get to the PlayStation. Like, so it's all horseshit, and they know it. They absolutely know it. And big Sony fans, like, I mean, you know, Greg Miller was a Sony guy first at IGN. Now he still runs his own PlayStation podcast for Kind of Funny. And he came out, he's like, this is absurd, and I'm thinking about playing Fortnite on Xbox at first, and then Switch when I want to play it on the go, because I don't want to deal with this. And his thing got like 20,000 likes.
Yeah, that's a pretty big voice to have against
10,000 retweets. It's like a huge thing. And apparently Sean Layden came out and liked that tweet.
Really?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, what's that mean? It's like,
is he being cheeky?
Right.
Like,
I mean, probably because they don't want to come out and say anything specific.
Like, who is the people who are, like, real steadfast? Because you know there must be people in that company yelling at them, like, just let them do it, guys. It's not gonna bite us.
Right. I mean, so there's going to be stakeholders that come into meetings and say, well, I mean, we prevent people from going to other systems. We're going to, prevent loss that, happens when people move from one system to the other, and we'll keep making more money, and it keeps people wanting to stay in this ecosystem. And it's like, okay, yeah, but also you look like chachas. Yeah. Like you look like douchebags. Like,
and
this is a really bad
welcome to the internet age. Like,
right.
I don't know. It just seems bizarre. These lessons are never learned.
Right, and like we were saying, it happened really fast. Like they were.
Right.
In 2013, we came out and it's like, hey, Sony is the good guys. They're undoing anything that Microsoft might be trying to like push through, and trying to end used game sales and stuff like that. Yeah. Sony's like, no, we're gonna let you lend games to your friends. You're still gonna be able to run stuff. That's us. We're all for it. And now it's like 5 years later, before the next system's launch, it does feel like we've had a role reversal. Even if the tides haven't completely turned in any tangible way in terms of sales or even perception. It feels like it's starting to.
Right, and Microsoft's already real fast to capitalize on it, right? Like, very cheeky. So, like, here's how you can play on both systems.
Yeah, like Major Nelson came out on Twitter and did that thing, and it's like, yeah, that's very reminiscent of what Sony did.
It's exactly what Sony did with here's how you share games on PlayStation 4. It's the exact same thing. These rules just reverse. For some, as soon as one of these companies, like, it becomes like, it's just between those two, really. Like, it sounds like a different equation. They have their own cycle of being up and down. Mm-hmm. But, like, these two do this weird dance, and like the one is up, and like then like they start being stupid. The other one like kind of be like, see, gamers, they don't get you, but we do. And then like everyone's like, yeah, we're gonna give them our money, and then they do better. And then they're like, well, we don't really need to like tease you because you like us anyways.
Yeah. You'll get a second job. Like
yeah. Well, nothing was ever better than launching PlayStation 3 Sony.
Look, Ken Kutaragi was a one-of-a-kind quote machine. It was Ken Kutaragi, I think was the right, yeah. And his stuff like that, like get a second job to afford a PlayStation 3. Okay, yeah. That is some primo executives putting their foot in their mouth.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not going to get worse than that. But it is strange that they just don't seem to learn these lessons in any permanent way. And it feels like, hey, Microsoft, maybe here's your chance to do this in a long-term, permanent way. And that could, that could prove things over a course of time instead of just capitalizing on this one moment of weakness, which would be, less cool. But yeah, it does feel like this is overshadowing things for Sony, and we were saying that this was Sony's victory lap when we were there on
oh god, it was their party
Monday
after
night.
Show. Their whole show, and it was a beautiful display of excess, and I don't mean that to sound cynical as it is. I'm kind of all for that stuff, right?
Yeah,
I'm Mr.
totally.
Epcot.
Yeah.
Like I was loving it, but it was definitely a victory lap. It was a deserved one, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean they've got that to this position for a lot of reasons. Usually it's lately it's been their games have been
right. And I say so because I think it would be a big shame if they just suddenly kind of throw it all away on nothing but like hubris and
hubris. Yeah,
hubris. I always say the word wrong.
That's okay.
The epitome of
yeah. I don't know. I kind of. I think it makes things interesting when they have this kind of hubris going in their decision making. But yeah, it's a bad look, and it is definitely overshadowing this victory lap.
Anyways, let's talk about some of the games we saw.
I think so. Why don't you start, Mike?
Sure. Yeah. First big thing I saw is the Resident Evil 2 remake, which did you guys play Resident Evil 2?
Like the original Resident Evil 2? Yeah, I played it here and there. I never played as much as I played like the remake on GameCube.
That was a port, not a remake.
Well, it's called Resident Evil Remake.
Well, Resident Evil 1 remake, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm asking about 2 specifically.
That wasn't a port. But
no, that was a remake, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I asked you if you played Resident Evil 2, Jeff.
And I said I never played it as much as I played that one. That was my answer.
We're fighting.
Oh, God. That's what people come to see.
You fought, like, with everybody.
I did. I fought with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fighting with Anthony right now because he's trying to insist that Smash Brothers isn't, like, a sales driver for Nintendo.
What?
It's ridiculous.
I thought everyone.
We gotta get him on the show next week so I can yell at him.
Yeah, totally.
And we have to
It's a sale.
confront him about his opinions about Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild.
No, that's fine. I'm over that. I get it.
I'm not over it.
Man, me neither. But we'll bring those up when we're yelling about how wrong he is about Smash Brothers.
Are we frozen or is that just your screen?
I just paused this because we don't need the video going. I just wanted to see the chat. My bad.
Okay. But, yeah. So, anyways, yeah. First off, Capcom's booth is maybe the best booth of the show.
Yeah, they're the ones doing the theatrics on the show floor.
Yeah, because they have, like, they've, like, recreated the police station. And even, like, when I could only play a little bit of Resident Evil 2 because I'm a coward, I thought that was a really cool setting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, this kind of, like, police station in the midst of, like, a town succumbing to a zombie attack.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that was cool. And, yeah. It was funny because, like, before I went to go play it, they're like, "Do you want to go through our haunted house experience?" And I was like, "No, I really don't." But and I was even like when I did the Resident Evil 7 demo a couple years ago, right? Like the VR thing.
Oh, VR.
Those PR people had to like pat me on the back and tell me when like they were like, "Now we promise we're gonna tell you something's gonna jump out and scare you." That's how bad I am with these things.
That's how I was during that one PlayStation one that was on rails where you were sitting in the minecart.
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But horror in VR is like very intense.
But like, so I don't usually do.
But some people swear by it for Resident Evil 7. Like people are like, that's how you have to play it. You have to play it alone in the dark in your home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, thank you. I like my heart to continue to beat. Yeah. So, but you like.
But it was so good that I was like, now there weren't, at least in the demo, there weren't jump scares. It was just creepy and like atmospheric. And it's so funny how cyclical these kind of games are, where like all this stuff that like Resident Evil had to run away from with Resident Evil 4, like the limited resources and like the grabbing the gem key to put into the goddess statue and all stuff, feels so refreshingly nice right now. I'm like, oh, this is so pleasant. You guys, I never realized it, but like those original Resident Evil games, they're adventure games in a lot of ways. You're solving puzzles, is what and a lot of them are literally inventory puzzles. It's like you got a picture, go develop it in the dark room so you can find the clue. And like it's literally inventory puzzles. Like, oh yeah, this is cool. And it like looks really good. This is like Capcom's graphically best game ever. It is stunning.
And Resident Evil 7 was already
and this is that engine, but the lighting, like I think because the setting is so cool and the lighting, it's like the character models even look really well done somehow. It is cool because like it is faithful as far as I know. I'm not like a Resident Evil 2 diehard, but it seems pretty faithful, and it's cool that it gets rid of a lot of the annoying things about those games that we don't want back, like tank controls. Right, it's just more analog controls. Like you still save it at typewriter, but you don't need the ink cartridge.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. There's no fixed camera that kind of helps you aim, since you can actually now aim down the sights and stuff like that. But it's still cool. Like it's so nice with these games when like a zombie comes at you, you don't just mow it down. It's like, oh, I only have this much ammo. Like I better make sure I only hit headshots. And then you like miss one, then you're like, you like panic, and it's like coming closer to you. You start panicking more. It's like so fun.
Did you like shoot off the limbs? Because I saw that a GIF of that today.
No, I was only going for the heads.
So people were like shooting the arm, and they shot it a couple times, and then it started swinging like really awkwardly, and then they just stopped and it just like fell off.
Nice.
And then they shot the legs, and it kept coming. It was like, all right, that's pretty.
How much I enjoyed this has been my big surprise of the show.
Okay.
Like when it was being announced, like, oh, cool, the remake of Resident Evil 2. I don't. Like I said, I played it, but it wasn't my thing back then. I'm playing this like, man, I'm into this now. Like this is like a really cool game for right now. It's funny, again, it's funny how so much of that stuff is nice now. So it's fun.
How about you, Stephanie? What have you been playing today?
I played a bunch of stuff at the IndieCade booth. That was really great. I played the newest VR game from Ink Stories. They did like Blindfold and 1979 Revolution Black Friday. But it's this game called Fire Escape, where you're basically a dude or a lady hanging out on a fire escape, and you're basically like you're like a voyeur, but like a nice voyeur. But you're like looking at this apartment building. Like
That defense has never worked for me, but yeah.
But you're basically kind of watching like this drama play out in front of you, like in a New York apartment building.
Okay.
And you can zoom in.
So like what we've been doing all week with the apartments across.
With the My Hero Academia.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone on the podcast knows that. Yeah.
It's a recurring thing now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an in-joke.
Yeah, we're all friends.
Yeah. You only communicate in like emojis though. Like I played on the Lenovo Mirage, so you can just like swipe on the touchpad, and there's like just minor atmospheric stuff that really sets it up. Like it's the night of the blood moon, and it starts with like a radio DJ being like, a lot of people think that stuff is gonna go wrong, and then like some like a murder happens, and it's just like a cool little short VR experience.
Okay.
There's like a lot of VR at the IndieCade booth, which I thought was really cool.
What were they playing on? Mostly HTC Vive?
Mostly Vive, yeah.
Seems to be the lead platform for VR developers. Yeah.
I think so. Though I do personally prefer the Oculus Touch controllers, but
Have you tried the new Vive Touch ones, the equivalents? Because I haven't. I don't. I guess they must not be out yet.
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure, but I don't know. It might just be because those were like baby's first VR controllers, so like I just got used to them.
Okay.
Yeah. But so I don't know. There's a lot of great stuff at the IndieCade booth.
Anything else that stood out, or?
There's one called VR Screensavers, which just literally lets you like explore old like Windows 95.
Like the flying toasters?
Wait, or like the 3D maze one?
Yeah, like the 3D maze.
That's so good. I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah, the pipes. Starfield.
God.
I didn't see the toasters, but
yeah, remember the toasters?
I do remember.
I remember the flying toasters for sure. Instead of a Starfield, it was the flying toasters.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, totally.
We loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer the 3D maze.
You do that while you install all 5 discs of King's Quest 6. It's good times.
So wait, will you just explore these things? Is that what the game is?
Yeah, it's not like it's just more of it's not like a walking simulator. I guess it's like a floating simulator.
Fair enough.
Screensaver simulator.
Yeah, it's a screensaver.
Which is fun to say, actually.
Yeah,
it's
that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, and I guess that studio has been doing a bunch of like location-based stuff, and they work with like art galleries.
Have you done any of that VR stuff? Because he did the Star Wars The Void one.
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
And he had a really good time with his family doing that.
That's the application. No, I like that. VR and AR. It's the
you're right. VR, except for like when you get to do it like at a theme park.
Yeah, it's way more fun there.
Yeah, a lot of people are big believers in like the location-based.
I mean, I think it is inevitable. It makes way too much sense. It's like you could cheaply like just create a whole new experience with like an AR goggles over people's eyes, and instead of having to like make all these, fabricate all these plastic or machine metal things, you just put something new into the computer, and now that same space is a completely different thing. So
the thing for me though is I don't like not knowing what's in my surroundings.
Yeah.
While I have a headset on, I already get a little nervous when I'm at home. I don't know if like something's gonna startle me.
But it's better because, at least in the Void, because they make sure everything is 1-to-1. So like if there's a chair in the VR thing, there is a chair there.
No, I mean like a person. Like I don't want someone to like attack me.
Well, yeah, but like if you're going through the, so my understanding is with the void is when like there's 4 people going through, they are the only people in that space.
Yeah.
Right.
But how do you know that?
Well, yeah, true.
You can't see. You can't confirm.
Yeah.
You have trust issues with that? What this is about?
Yeah, but like I feel that way about haunted houses too. But I guess I don't.
But haunted houses are supposed to scare you. There's these trying to get you not to sue them.
Yeah.
That's their game.
They're really good at it. Yeah.
I think the trust thing though, it is something to consider with the head-mounted displays because you just can't see your surroundings. Like someone could be breaking into my house.
Yeah, I think that's why AR is going to be a thing. So I think with AR, it's going to be you're not going to be putting a whole world around you. You're going to be putting like one virtual character in your world, and they'll actually be sitting in that couch right next to you, and so you'll still be able to see your front door, and you'll be like playing games with them. But most of your vision is still going to be the real world.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably. I mean, that's definitely happening already with some things, but it's just going to keep getting better, and that's going to be what we experience.
Yeah. I think the challenge with AR or AR games specifically, because AR has tons of great practical applications.
Of course, yeah.
But with AR games, you know, like I think developers are still trying to figure out how to make AR native games with mechanics that make sense. So they're not just like sticking a platformer in your living room. You know?
It's not all just that game from the one episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah. Just put the things in the hole. Yeah.
Which I believe was called the game.
Yeah, totally. I'm trying to think what I saw today. I played Trials.
I played Trials too. It's a lot of fun.
It's a really good game. So Trials was always good, and this seems like a lot more Trials. So Trials, anyone who doesn't know, is from developer Red Lynx and publisher Ubisoft, and it is people in the UK will know this term, Trials. Outside of there, though, it just means you're taking a motorbike, usually a dirt bike, through a bunch of obstacles. And then the game is that, but it's like a very physically simulated version of that.
So it's kind of wacky and fun.
Right, but like the bike itself controls accurately. So you need to be like, your character needs to be leaning in the right way, and you need to make sure like your back wheel is hitting the ground. So that's the one, because the back wheel is the one that powers it. So if it's just the front wheel on there, you're not going to go anywhere. And yeah, it's just always been a super satisfying, basically a platformer. It's like a really fast motorcycle platformer. But yeah, they've always been known for making wacky games or wacky versions of these stages that you go through, where all kinds of wild stuff's happening in the background, and you get to the finish line, and your character flies off the bike and ragdolls, and it's it's a good time. And the last one was, we talked about this I think on a podcast preview earlier this week, was that Blood Dragon one that was a platformer with like shooting, and it was a narrative. And it
didn't work out for them, really. Huh?
Yeah, it didn't work out for anybody. It's a straight up bad game.
Weird. That seemed like it would be so cool.
Yeah, and it was such a bummer. Like it was because
Blood Dragon meets Trials. Cool.
Right. Yeah. It's like, why not? There's something there, and it's like you play the first couple stages, and they're Trials games, and it's the guy from Blood Dragon doing the voice, Michael Dean, and then he like dies early on, and you go to play as his kids who are way more annoying. So even that part of it didn't work. But like, yeah, they released it during E3, and I'm like, in the middle of E3, I'm like, hey, can we get a code for that? I like to play that like at night, like while we're here and stuff like that. And I tried it a little bit. And I'm like, I think this is bad, and then went home and kind of played it one more time, and then never touched it again. So it was such a bummer.
But this is like way more just Trials.
This is a return to what Trials was. I know there are like some Trials diehards who worried that the game or the series has lost some of its some of that wackiness and some of the creativity in the stages over time. People definitely prefer Evolution and even HD, which came out before that, over Fusion, which was the one in between that and Blood Dragon. It's hard to tell playing a couple. You only played for a little bit. Like I played for like maybe a half hour, and I had a good time, I had a great time, but it was just, that was all about moving this bike through the space, and I only played a few stages, and I definitely hope they continue to get more creative and more interesting, but I have no way of knowing right now if they'll hit that.
So is the series mainly about like sort of one-upsmanship?
Yes.
Like every entry is just like, what other crazy shit can we do now?
Yeah, I mean, there's that side of it. Like they want to make sure that each stage feels like it gets crazier and crazier, and one game is crazier than the next. But then also the game itself is about trying to beat your friends, and like they really this time they have really gone all out with like the ghosts and the recorded features. So every time you're racing on a stage, you will see the full ghosts recording of either your friends or just random people who've also played this stage. And in the past, they've done a pretty good job with this, but it was you wouldn't necessarily get all the detail of the riders, And now you could see every little motion they're doing. So if their character's leaning forward to kind of carry their momentum forward, you could see exactly when and how they did that. So you could either replicate it or feel bad that you can't replicate it because they're better than you. But yeah, it was. And then if you beat your friend's ghost in that, it means you got a better time than them, and then they get sent back to them. They get an alert that you beat them.
Yeah, classic leaderboard stuff.
Right, yeah. And it's like, it's always been great at that stuff, and it just seems like that's what they're focusing on here.
Remember when that Geometry Wars was like the first leaderboard game?
Oh, God, yeah.
It was like
that was
so
the
fun.
best too, yeah.
Geometry Wars is still super great.
Geometry Wars is still
it's
like
the
one of the
Yeah,
but it's still like when I think back to that generation.
Well, that was like the Xbox Live Arcade game, like the first like really cool one,
Right,
right?
and I mean honestly, I still think of it as like one of the best games from that generation, Geometry Wars. So, yeah, I can't remember what else.
I got some more things.
Yeah, please. I'm trying to remember what else I played.
So I went to Nintendo and I played some more Smash Brothers, but also got to play Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.
How is that?
And now you're a big baby.
I wish I was, because then that game would be for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, they're very honest about it.
Right, yes. And from the very first, they were always saying this.
The point of this game is to get people who play, because more people play Pokemon Go than play, like, what, Pokemon Sun and Moon, right?
Right.
So the idea is, let's get those people to play, like, a console Pokemon game. So, you walk around, like, Pokemon are just on the field, you go up to them, and then you throw a Pokeball at them. And that's how you get Pokemon, or you can just transfer them over from the Pokemon Go game. But it was very easy, right? Like, before, if you wanted to capture a Pikachu, first off, it's like, good luck, it's a high occurrence rate, so you're going to be fighting a lot of Caterpies and, Metapods, and now here's a Pikachu, but make sure you damage it just enough, and then, there's things involved. Now the Pikachu's just walking around the grass, you go up to him, and then you throw your Pokeball until you get him. It's weird, because I played it with the Pokeball, which you could play the entire game with. Right.
Yeah, because it's just a Joy-Con. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work. Like,
oh no.
Well, they were saying, like, look, we're working on it, and there's a lot of interference these things, but like, I don't know why. Sometimes I would do this and it would just go straight. Sometimes it would be like, let's go, I don't know.
Was there like occlusion going on from like your hand or something?
A what now?
Like, was it blocking like this, like
I don't know.
sensor?
I don't know. It's sort of like I said. That's one of the things that they say that's gonna be better. So maybe it will, maybe it won't.
Yeah.
Because like the Pokemon are in the field, like I literally was like I was going through Viridian Forest, I think, and like I was at a dead end, and there's a giant tree in the foreground blocking me, and there's tall grass, and it's just like all the Pokemon are there, and I literally just like you can't walk past them. Like if you touch them, you go into the thing. I just like couldn't get by them. Like it was like I walk a step and I'd be like, "Here's a rat." I'm like, "I don't want the rat." It's like, here's the Pidgey. Or Pokemon guy's like, "Haha, he wants to be your friend." I'm like, "I don't need any more friends."
My dance card is full.
And then at one point I did a battle. Like the battle was a Pokemon battle. I don't know. Again, I'm trying not to be too simple because I get it. It's not for me.
Right, but at the same time, like. I felt like people will come to Pokemon games and they will do just fine. I don't. Okay, here's my thing. I don't believe that this is going to win over that many Pokemon Go fans.
No, I don't think so either.
Right.
It is strange. It is strange to take your top selling series and be like, if only we had more people playing it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
It's questionable.
I'll talk louder.
No, I already fixed it. I switched the other microphone.
What do we need to do?
Nothing. I fixed it. They wanted us to talk louder, but now it's a lot better, I think.
Do I need to talk?
That's much better. Well, when you're actually.
Is it better?
Stop, Mike.
Niber.
Oh God, you fought me, Dean, and Stephanie.
Me and Niber are fighting,
and now you're fighting with a guy on the internet. Great.
I think I'm actually out because we fought 3 times.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you did.
You did. You struck out with Mike.
I struck out.
It was
It's just me, Rattata, and Pidgey, like sitting there. Mike's like, I want nothing to do with you.
I don't know. I don't know about this Pokemon Let's Go thing.
Yeah.
It's cute. It looks nice, but like I really want to see that next. And to be fair, the next Pokemon's coming, but
yeah,
we'll see. I got to play Starlink on the Switch.
Oh.
Yeah, so Starlink is the one from Ubisoft.
It's like the Toys of Life spaceship-y kind of
where
thing.
you don't need the toys, right?
I'm not super clear.
Okay.
Isn't it like when you actually have like the thing, it mods your ship in real time or something like that?
Yeah, like the toys are like ship parts and stuff.
Yeah.
Right, and it's actually pretty fun, and it's funny how this game is now doing the No Man's Sky thing, where you're in space and you go down to a planet, right?
Right.
We were so blown away.
There's
by
another
that.
game, Beyond Good and Evil does that, and then I think there's another one.
Dual Universe also does it.
Yeah, and so there's the new Stardock game, Star Control.
It's so weird. Beyond Good and Evil's trajectory has been so funny this E3 because everyone was like being kind of mean to it at the press conference, and I thought it was unwarranted. And apparently I haven't done it, but like the theater demo is really good, and people, everyone I know who comes out of that is like, yeah, this game looks really great.
Okay.
I don't know if it's theater or like behind doors or something, but that game sounds like it's gonna be cool. But yeah, so this thing, it's super fun because it basically is kind of a Star Foxy thing, except that you fly down, then you have to like fight the enemies, and there's like looting and stuff. So it's like more RPG-y than that, which is cool. It was looking a little rough on the Switch, like looking almost like a Wii game maybe.
Was it like just like dropping?
It was kind of blurred. No, it was like running.
Have you seen it anywhere else? That, like, did you
no,
watch
so I can't
trailer?
compare it to like what it's running on Xbox, but
yeah,
just graphically it wasn't like looking super great. Also, at one point, a character was talking to me on the comms, and she was talking about hashtags, and I just groaned so hard. And like I let that Nintendo PR person know that this is not okay.
I'd like to file a complaint.
I'll do something about that. Yeah. Now in the Trials demo, she tried to turn down the music for me so that when I captured it, we wouldn't get the licensed music. And she's a UX designer, and it was going really slow, and she's like, I could see her like getting frustrated with her own game. I'm like, oh well, you can fix that. She's like, I'm going to. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, now you know. Yeah.
But I mean, actually, I actually liked it more than I thought I would. It seems fun. And I got to use the R-Wing. I got to like modify it with weird weapons.
My understanding is that all these Toys to Life games are actually pretty fun.
Well, to be honest, I play a lot of them. I think are kind of simple and not to use phrasing, but kind of baby games. Like I didn't like Disney Infinity that much.
Right.
And if anyone should like Disney Infinity, it's me. And I was like, this is boring.
Yeah.
This felt more like a game.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, maybe I was thinking of Skylanders, which I think a lot of people, even older people, were really into because it was a pretty satisfying game. But they lost that over time. So
yeah.
But and there's no reason these Toys to Life things can't work. It's just like everyone got up and decided we're done with that because it's way too expensive, I guess, to make all these toys, and that makes sense. And if people aren't buying the toys and stuff's just sitting on the shelves, like GameStop's going to be really pissed at you. So like, yeah, you can't mess that up. So maybe make them optional, which we don't even know how that works. But if they do that, that would probably make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Thank you, Star Wars Colin. I am funny.
I love this stream.
Yeah, well, who wouldn't?
Okay, so I did see some other stuff. And
you played Rage 2.
Rage 2. I did play Rage 2. Thank you.
I'm here to do your job for
I know.
you.
I'm honest, I can't remember anything anymore. So I played Rage 2. You know what? That's pretty good. I think that's going to be...
I mean, those id guys, whoever they're working with, they know how to make a shooter.
Right, and it turns out they're making the shooter part of this game. You know how I could tell? Because they played a lot like Doom.
And that's a great shooter.
It's one of the best. Like, maybe the best shooter, like, just kind of ever. And then this game does a lot of that stuff, so you are always moving. You're always moving forward. It's not about getting behind cover. Like, there's a crouch button, and I was almost like, why? Like, that maybe seems like a wasted button. I'll
tell you what, though, I would be a little off-put if I was playing a shooter game and there wasn't a crouch button.
Yeah, I know.
Because I would try to push that button, and even if I didn't need it, if it didn't work, I would feel weird.
Yeah, okay, I'm totally with you.
You know what I mean?
There was
it should have been a mohawk button.
Yeah, like
when you press it, you just kind of go like that.
No, okay, that would make up for it. Like Fortnite has a crouch button, and like the meta for Fortnite right now is always bunny hopping.
Right.
So I'm like, that's a silly button, but I'm sure they'll maybe balance it, bring it back. I don't know if they want to. But you're right. I'm agreeing with you. However, this is a game always about momentum and moving forward, and it has, like, on the LB, it was dash, and you have 3 dashes that you can use in pretty quick succession. And I think that was the only part that wasn't working for me, is I felt it was taking too long for these dashes to recharge. So I'd go to do it again, and nothing would happen, and I would feel locked in place as I was getting attacked. Other than that, though, once I started realizing, I have all these other abilities. Like if I hold down LB instead of tap it to dash, I can bring up either this sort of force push, like a really close range force push that will cause people to explode if I'm that close.
Isn't it just forced explosion at that point?
Yes, at that point. But it is, like you're like 4 feet away, then it's force push. And then if I press A, like the jump button while holding down the LB, I will do the rise up and then ground pound.
Like Doomfist.
Yeah, and it felt a lot like Doomfist actually. And,
Really?
so it felt it felt good. It felt like a Doom shooter. And, it was mixed in with all these other capabilities so that you're not always just thinking about the guns and the secondary options of the guns, or then maybe a melee attack. That was an option. You could do that as well. But I think that all that stuff's going to work. It's going to be the kind of game where people are really into the action, because it had a lot of like the guitar riffing that Doom has. So I'm like, I was getting into it, and I was happy to see that the color from like the trailers was in the game.
That wasn't just like we gotta sell this by being wacky because people like wacky,
right? Yeah. So, and it was a lot of like pink smoke was happening like over here while the brown enemies were over there.
Is this going to be better than Rage 1?
Yeah, so I think it will be just based on this part. But here's what I didn't get to play was the open world stuff. So the stuff that Avalanche is making, I have no idea if that's good or not, or how that's going to work. And I'm starting to realize, like, a lot of E3 demos, I'm like, yeah, I think the moment-to-moment stuff that they're showing me here is probably really good. Who knows if they're going to nail all the other things that are, like, super important to games these days. But yeah, I don't know. It was impressive, and I was happy to kind of be like, okay, now I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this game and ready to be excited when it comes out, which before I wasn't necessarily feeling.
Yeah, as unnecessarily cynical as I've been about it, I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and I think for a moment I was like, oh, is Avalanche making the whole thing and it's just putting their name on it? But no, it's clearly making the shooting, and Avalanche is just doing the cars and the open world and stuff like that.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I got to interview Tetsuya Nomura about Kingdom Hearts. I had a lot of questions about that Pirates of the Caribbean level.
Yeah, I know you were telling me how you were going to go ask him about that. So people that don't remember. Yeah, let's just set it up. Kingdom Hearts 3 got another trailer at the PlayStation.
Trailers to C3.
Yeah,
we saw one trailer twice.
Yeah, we saw one trailer twice, and then there was a second trailer at the PlayStation event that focused on the Pirates of the Caribbean content, and this is Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
There's been 5 now,
and this movie came out in 2007.
Yeah.
And when did they announce this game?
Oh, they announced it 5 years ago. It was like the same E3.
Well, when did
It was the same E3 where they showed off Super Smash Bros. For Wii U.
Okay, yeah.
To give you an idea.
All right, yeah. When did Kingdom Hearts 2 come out?
2006.
Okay.
In the US, 2005.
Right.
So
then the next year, Pirates of the Caribbean 3 came out, and then they were like, well, that's the one we want in our movie.
Right.
Or in our game, yeah.
So, I asked them, like, why Pirates at all? Because, Kingdom Hearts 2 and some of the other ones would go back to, like, levels, but this one has been mostly new things, except for Hercules, and I asked about this. He basically said, I want to try to have like one live action movie, and Pirates still looked interesting to me.
Okay.
And I was like, why Pirates 3? And his answer actually made sense. He's like, well, I couldn't just go to Pirates 2 because like Pirates 2 and 3, like it's like a Back to the Future 2 and 3 thing, right?
Right.
Pirates 2 just ends to set up Pirates 3.
Okay.
And then he said, and then also like you look at them, Pirates 3 has kind of the best like set pieces, like the best things that can be a video. Basically, he did say it. Pirates 3 has that cool part where there's the like whirlpool and the ships are shooting at each other, and it still has Davy Jones, who is like a way better character than the bad guys from 4 and 5.
Oh yeah.
So like, and I was like, yeah, I get it. If I was you, I would have also picked Pirates 3. I don't know if I would have done Pirates still, but
I love that Pirates is in it because I just love seeing like human Johnny Depp.
It is funny.
Yeah, I was wondering, what live action movie would you use if you had to pick something else? I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, Rocketeer would be my number one bite for sure. But I don't know if the Japanese are into Rocketeer.
Right.
They're into Tron because that's why Tron was there.
That makes me really depressed because that would be so good.
It would be so good if there was a Rocketeer
what if Disney just made more
National Treasure level?
All right,
there's a new Rocketeer cartoon show coming from Disney.
I thought they were making a new Rocketeer, and it was a black girl with like dreads or something.
Yeah, it's like the cartoon show.
That's the cartoon.
It's good for little girls, like your daughter. She's gonna grow up loving the Rocketeer.
She's gonna be so into it.
It's gonna be so great.
It's not just for me.
No, that is my dream level now. Is if there was like the Rocketeer level with Cliff Secord as like your partner.
But let's talk about Nicolas Cage because that would be
that's amazing.
So it is a bit like that's the one thing I'm worried about with Kingdom Hearts 3 because they finally have access to the pixel levels. I'm not worried about per se, but like they get to do a lot of these levels that they probably should have been able to do a while ago. And he even said it it was actually a dual interview, and someone's like, "Why didn't you do this game sooner?" He said, Disney kept asking me. I said, not till you let me make a Toy Story level. And they're finally like, you can do a Toy Story level. Okay, yeah, then here we go. And I get, like, once you have Pixar, that kind of monopolizes a lot of your worlds.
Yeah,
I want
that's
to coaster,
fair,
I want
right.
this, I want to, that, like. So, but one of the cool things about Kingdom Hearts 2 was, like, you had a Tron level, and that was before, like, Tron Legacy was, like, a blip on the radar. That was, like, really out of nowhere. Even the Pirates of the Caribbean 1 level at that point was cool because we hadn't had any live-action stuff. You had, like, the Steamboat Willie level. We haven't had any, like, levels that are, like, I wouldn't have expected that. Although, to be fair, he was also asked, what is your favorite world in any of the Kingdom Hearts games? And he said... Actually, can I include Kingdom Hearts 3? And they were like, yeah, sure. He's like, I haven't announced my favorite one yet. I was like,
my God.
Tatsuya, Nomura.
Oh, you
tease. What could it be? Oh, maybe he's a big Rocketeer fan.
Oh my God.
The other funny thing was before we even did the interview, the PR person pretty much very politely was like, don't ask him about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Please don't.
I love that they had to say that.
Yeah.
I love you too, Shiny Leopard.
He's an attention whore. So just say what you want. He'll give you attention right back.
That's true.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty. I had an interview with him like a couple years ago, or maybe even last year, and like there wasn't that much about Kingdom Hearts 3 yet, so it wasn't a great interview because like he couldn't say much of anything. This interview was a lot better. Those translated interviews are very fun though.
Right.
My favorite part is like when he's giving the response to your question, he's talking to the translator, and you know it's like him saying translator, and then they both like ha 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 ha, and then I'm like, I can't wait to hear that joke later. Oh, this will be a good one.
That is my favorite part of translated interviews, for sure.
Funny.
It reminds me of like Andrew House, like because Andrew House speaks perfect Japanese, and he was the president of PlayStation for a while. And like he would be talking to someone in Japanese on stage, and then he would get to laugh, and we'd all have to wait for it. But
yeah, it's like something funny's happening.
Well, I like funny things.
Yeah.
I saw Generation Zero, which is that other Avalanche game at Microsoft. It looked a lot like a Far Cry game, or maybe a little bit of State of Decay, but there's no real world progression. I'm confused about what they're going for here. So the setup is you are a bunch of young people. They said young adults.
Are we young adults anymore? Or are we just adults now?
I'm 35, man. I'm not a young adult. You go on a boat, and then you come back, and the game starts, and you come back, and there's a giant like robot waiting to kill you, and you take it out or whatever. And the whole game is finding out the mystery of like what's going on here. And what they showed was an open world, like you would imagine from the people who made Mad Max and Avalanche, but a lot more subdued. Apparently, it is very influenced by their hunting games that they make. They make these hunting games that do really well for them.
Do they make like Caleb's hunting?
They don't. It's not. No, but it's like imagine like an open world hunting game like that though, and made by the people that like that know how to make open world games. So you're just going out looking for deer or whatever. But now instead of that, you are being hunted by robots or trying to avoid robots or taking out robots. And yeah, you're looking for like weapon cache. They showed us one mission where you're just you're trying to get along through this like small little clove of houses. There, concave of houses, and it was, just trying to avoid the robots. You go inside a house. You can go inside any building that you see, and you found a note to one person who used to be like the city's basically security head guy, and he had a key in there and a note in there saying, "Hey, I'm going to bring you this key. Meet me here." And he's gone. He's dead. So you take the key instead, and you go and you find it. And it's a weapon cache, and it's that kind of game where you are going to be finding stuff in the open world and finding ways to get inside these buildings that are locked that might have stuff that will enable you to better fight against the robots. I just was confused about why a lot of times, because it was just like you would think. Yeah, I get my character progression.
I didn't know this game existed until you started talking.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they showed it at the Microsoft thing, and I think we were all busy writing.
We were busy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get the character progression. I'm making my character better. I'm getting these weapons, but if I'm not like changing the world, it feels like one of these games without like world progression is maybe missing something. So I wasn't quite sure, and I guess the whole point is just to get through the narrative. And it's like, okay, so it's a story-driven game with all these open world systems. And that just seems to clash, and I'm curious to see how it works. I'm not like judging it yet. I came out of it a little confused about whether or not I would be entertained enough to see that through or something. So, we'll see. But Avalanche is making a lot of games right now.
Yeah, they're pretty busy. Hey, Shiny Leopard wants to know how the Spider-Man game is. We kind of talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, we did talk about it yesterday.
But it's really good. It's
short
version, man.
Well, here's what we could do. You're not going to be here tomorrow night when we're.
I'm not really going to be seeing much else. If you want to ask me what my favorite things from the show
I think we should probably start wrapping up like our big thoughts about the show because we might do another podcast tomorrow night, but you won't be here. I'm not sure.
And what good's a podcast without me? Really?
I mean, yeah, a good one, but
hey,
but I want to kind of we do think the show's over. Like that is the last day is about traveling. So let's start kind of putting some stuff put a ribbon on it all. What was your top stuff, and then we'll probably talk about Spider-Man a little bit in this as well.
Because Spider-Man's definitely one of the top things. It's not the top thing, I thought that game was super fun. And it was, a lot of the games that would be my top stuff are, super in my wheelhouse kind of things, like Smash Brothers and Mega Man, right? And Ori.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the other three things I really loved. With, Resident Evil 2 being, the other kind of big surprise. That's my top 5. Those 4 and then Spider-Man.
Okay. Right,
but Spider-Man, I knew it would be pretty good. It's a Sony first-party game right now from one of their better studios, and it's Spider-Man. But I thought that was so much fun. That web slinging felt so good.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was really neat. The tone was perfect. It looked really good. It ran very well. I'm super excited to play more of that. And I guess because it's such not my wheelhouse, and it still has that much of my attention, I would probably say it's game of this show for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Mega Man is really good.
Yeah, you're a huge Mega Man fan, and they're keeping you excited about Mega Man. That alone says a lot about that. So yeah.
Yeah, but Spider-Man is. It was interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because I liked Spider-Man, I liked Ori, and I liked Smash. I got all the systems covered really.
Yeah. Huh.
Good to go.
How about you, Stephanie?
I still have more stuff that I'm seeing tomorrow since I live in LA.
He said E3's over already.
Yeah,
You're not allowed to.
Yeah. I'll just go home now.
Yeah. Let's do it. I'm gonna go to bed.
Home to my cat.
Oh, it's open world, shiny.
Yeah, it's very open world. I mean, it's like that Spider-Man 2 game from way back, but
better,
but way bigger and better.
Maybe better. I mean, I don't want to say it's better yet, but
it's more detailed. All the open world parts of it are more detailed.
Right, Spider-Man 2 was mostly fun because of the swinging.
Right. And then that little boy with the balloon that says, "My balloon!" And you get to go help them. Yeah. They better bring that back.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
He did mean to, but we're going to go back to you now. So
It's fine. No, I want to play the Spider-Man game because I feel like I'm ready now because I finished Unravel 2 and I'm ready to swing some more.
Yeah, this is in 3D now, Steph.
Yeah, so this is going to be a whole new world. But I think Outer Wilds and Watam were my favorites so far. But you guys know I'm a big Annapurna fangirl, so
yeah,
anything they publish, I'm like, oh my god.
Watam and what was the other one? I'm sorry.
Outer Wilds.
Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
Okay, keep hearing great things about Outer Wilds.
It's great. That's the one with the time loop. So every 20 minutes, the universe resets itself.
Right.
Yeah,
like that episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation again.
Most games are an episode of Star Trek.
That was more of a day. It's a good episode. Cause and Effect. Ooh.
Oh, that is a good episode.
I learned so much from Star Trek.
Watam's still it's just kind of weird.
Oh, it's the butt game.
The butt game, yeah, because it sounds like bottom, yeah.
We figured
that out. The butt game?
Yesterday, because it was.
We talked about this.
There was poop involved.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of poop.
And he's like,
sounds like bottom.
He thinks Watam sounds like bottom, so.
Well, because it does.
Well, I mean,
that's why I think that.
But you think the game's called Watam because it sounds like bottom, and we don't know about that, but probably.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's got the zany sense of humor of Katamari Damacy, and it has similar music. Who apparently Keita Takahashi's wife composed all the music in Katamari Damacy, and she's also
and she composed it for Katamari Damacy.
Yeah. So, and I had no idea, and I was like, that's amazing.
Because that music is I think about that music all the
it's
time.
It's so good. I still listen to it. I have a Google Chrome widget.
I gotta let Dean in. You guys finish.
Okay. But yeah, so that's just me. And then I'm heading to the Devolver Digital a lot tomorrow.
Okay.
So I want to play my friend Pedro and some of those other things.
Yeah, they had a couple games I wanted to check out. I don't know if we'll get over there. Maybe. If you want to play Spider-Man, though, the PlayStation Media Arcade. Just go back there.
I need to play it. I need it in my life.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So we could definitely make that happen. I think the things that stood out to me were, definitely Spider-Man. It's definitely one, but probably Anthem.
You like Anthem more?
I think I might like Anthem more.
He's yelling from off.
You haven't played it.
I already judge.
He tried to play it today, but we couldn't get him in.
They tried to let me.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, we don't want you to. We don't want a Spider-Man fan.
They didn't like it.
Yeah, we don't want a Spider-Man fan in here.
What about Avengers?
Is
it here? It's not here, is it?
What?
Avengers?
No, they didn't even show it at the Square Enix thing. So it's a Square Enix game, right? So, yeah, who knows what's happening with that game? I was kind of hoping they would. I was really hoping they would show it. That would have been a way to make that press conference really stand out. And the fact that they didn't have it was like, okay, this is kind of something's missing, and it's that big surprising game that we're all
Everyone's so disappointed about it. My Lyft driver was like, "What's going on with Avengers?" When he found out that, when I was at like E3.
I honestly sometimes forget that game's coming.
Yeah.
Because it's like they announced it and we've never heard anything about it since.
Yeah.
But it's not here. It's not behind closed doors. No one's played it. No one's talking about it at Square Enix. Yeah. It's a no-show. We probably won't hear about it until next E3 if then. So I mean, Square Enix, God, they'll announce stuff and then we'll wait 10 years and it'll maybe come out. So they're really bad at that kind of stuff. I mean, it is coming from Eidos, who's pretty good at delivering that kind of thing. But my understanding was when they announced that game, it was announcing that they got the deal to do it. So who knows if any work had actually been put into it. So
it's going to be in production hell for like 8 years.
Yes. So getting to my, I would say Anthem. Anthem's probably the big standout for me. I was talking to some people about it, and everyone kind of has a similar reaction. It feels great to play. It just feels great to move around in that world. You really are. You're flying around, and you pick it up immediately because it's just jump, double jump, and you click in the left stick to start flying like Iron Man. And it never stops being satisfying to then click the right stick to immediately start hovering, and then you can start attacking from the air. You can't attack in the other mode. It's just such a really fluid experience. I got
a fluid experience for you.
Thanks.
I'm like, I hope he means urine, and I'm like, oh no, why do I hope that?
That's the only context where I hope it's urine.
Yeah, it's for real. Yeah, because what is the other option? Dean, why don't you come over here and just wrap up E3 for us?
Okay.
And then Mike, come back when you can. We're gonna do disappointments, I think.
Disappointments.
Yeah, you don't have to because I'm not gonna force anyone to be negative.
That's what my parents call me.
That's my mom's nickname for me. All right, so what we were doing is kind of the favorite thing you've seen because tomorrow's going to be a busy day of travel as well as E3, so we might not be able to wrap this up then. So what stood out to you?
Well, I like The Last of Us Part 2, so that's a given, I guess, but I also liked the one that came right after it, the Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, yeah.
So you like trailers?
Well, the interesting thing, I played a little bit of Sekiro.
The new From Software game that is not a Souls game.
Shadows Die Twice, right? From Software game. And it looked like a completely, same kind of game, samurai fighting game, a little more supernatural.
As Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Right.
But the world looked flat. And that you were a character interacting with some kind of, game world. And a lot of it was like...
Yeah, but I mean, did you play it? You played it, though, right?
Yeah.
You didn't... With Ghost of Tsushima, we just saw a trailer.
But you step on a plant there, right? And then nothing happens, right? Ghost of Tsushima seems like a living world.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
Okay, fair enough. I do think that they will be very different games in the end. Because, I mean, one's a FromSoft game. And FromSoft's going to be focused on mechanics first and telling stories through that kind of thing. And they might have, other weird ways of stuff.
They might want to rethink that.
Well, maybe, but they have their fans, and they're not going anywhere. People will show up for anything they make now at this point. So,
but
how about like what would you play that you really liked?
I like Rage.
That was fun. I talked about that a little bit earlier. What do you think?
Everything feels right for that universe. Like the guns do some damage, but they don't completely sort of eliminate on just the very first kill, far away.
Right.
So you have to get in close.
Yes.
Get in close range.
You want to keep moving towards them. Yeah.
Shoot your shotgun at exactly the right time.
Right.
So there's a lot of skill.
Yeah. Yeah. It did, but it felt like Doom stuff. Is what I was saying. It really did feel like Doom combat. So, yeah, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
What else did I see? I liked I saw Days Gone again. And, the 500. I got to try the 500 zombies thing.
Now you like it now though.
Again.
I like it again
Who put
because
trash in the fridge?
you can,
That's not trash. It's a half a banana that I'm gonna finish. Oh my! Mike doesn't like fruit.
You interrupted me.
Sorry.
So the Days Gone thing, Mike, you're fired.
You're fired.
Yeah.
Bye.
Days Gone. Sit here, Mike.
You can set traps. You can sort of run around. You throw a grenade into these 500 zombies, and they start chasing you, and then you want to see how many of them you can kill. Maybe you can get to your bike in time and ride around and try to sort of survive on your bike. Shooting your machine gun, throwing grenades, throwing Molotov cocktails. Like, you have a lot of stuff when you're in a position to take on these 500 zombies. I could only kill 250 of them.
Oh,
What a loser.
What a failure. I'm embarrassed.
After 3 tries,
I think I recorded the best trials footage of anyone who doesn't work at Ubisoft today, and I was very proud.
Did the PR person tell you that?
Okay, yes.
The PR people told me I was good at all my games too.
But like the developer came up, the main developer came up, and he was going to do the thing where he's like, "Oh, this is how you do that." And as he's saying that, I'm in the middle of doing exactly what he's saying. So I'm like, "Okay, I feel pretty good about this." But yeah, and then one thing I didn't mention about Trials is there's a tandem bike now, so 2 people sit on it, and it's co-op, and you have to work together and communicate, and it gives you objectives, you have to do 3 backflips and 3 front flips. So you have to say, okay, we're gonna go in this, we're gonna try to do 2 front flips, and you both have to hold the stick at the same time.
Did you guys tell this Jeepers Creepers guy that Avengers is not at the show?
Yeah, it's we don't even know anything about that. It's definitely not here. And basically it sounded like when they announced it that they were just announcing the deal.
Square Enix would never do that.
Yeah, right. Okay, so
I like Skull and Bones too.
So what do you think about Skull and Bones?
I want to play that.
The graphics just look really good, and close up. You can. It's easy to maneuver. You control the whole ship by yourself. You just go, sailing, and then when you're closing in on these other ships, you fire your broadsides or cannons, and you can just sort of kind of steer your stick in one direction to figure out which set of cannons you're going to fire, and then once you steer your stick to the left, the cannons on the left broadside will fire, and then you can switch as the ship comes around or something to your forward cannons just by switching the stick forward. So it's just really fluid and easy to do the ship combat while you're actually, with the other hand, steering your own ship.
It doesn't sound like Sea of Thieves. I don't like it.
It doesn't sound like Sea of Thieves. I like it. Yeah, it sounds better. It sounds like a game.
I talked to the Sea of Thieves guy today, and I'm excited about that game again.
Fool.
Yeah, maybe. I like the story of what they're trying to do. They're not going to give you a lot of character progression. They're not going to give you any character progression.
I guess that's my other thing is I don't see the point of a game.
Right.
So that's why I play.
Right.
I'm the guy I spent.
But you're not alone. A lot of people bounced off it because of that. And I think I might have too, but I still want to go in there and have those emergent experiences. And now I still can because I'm at the same level as everyone else because everyone's just level 0.
Do you guys know that over the last couple of years I spent 50 hours on World of Warcraft trying to get a mount? Don't got it yet.
I didn't know that. That's really depressing.
No, I'll get him soon, maybe.
Oh, okay. No, then
statistically, it's about time.
It won't be depressing when you finally get it.
It's gonna be great.
Didn't you spend $5 and get it?
No, not World of Warcraft. They have principles.
So I'm not gonna force anyone.
I like Spider-Man too, by the way.
Yeah, isn't it great?
Yeah.
You played it at? Did you play at the Sony thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other night. Okay. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so I don't want to force anyone because I don't want to force anyone to be negative or cynical, but do you have any disappointments? Just from in general, not games that you necessarily played, but was something missing that you were expecting, or did a company do something you weren't happy with? Anything like that? And I'll start. This is the first time I've been to E3 and I didn't play anything at Nintendo.
Into what?
I did not play anything at Nintendo.
I played Smash there.
So I didn't go to Nintendo's.
Oh, this is the point you get to go.
Not to spin on anything. I just there's nothing that really made me feel like I need to get there.
So you don't like Smash?
I don't. I just know what. Oh my God, Mike! Jeez.
The tone is
I'm sorry.
a little confrontational.
Hey, I'm fine with Smash, but I'm going to tell him I love it because I don't want him to hurt me. Mike, it's a great game.
Smash.
It's the best game.
So, look, I don't have friends that come over. I'm married with a kid.
You don't have friends.
I don't have friends. Yeah, for real. And so definitely know I have friends that like come over to like just play Smash. So it's not the same thing. It is to me. That is to a lot of people that play that game.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything for you that was like Zelda or Mario.
Right, and like even like the smaller stuff, like they didn't bring Yoshi in. I mean, if they had Metroid, like this would be a completely different show.
Sure.
Like this show would be so different if they had Metroid Prime 4 there.
They talked a lot about Overcooked too, and that tells me that, you know, there's no innovation there. They're reliant on somebody else to come up with something kind of different. And
okay, well, come on.
Two after
every single Sony and Microsoft had plenty of third-party games in their show too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, the only big reveal at Sony was Control, a game that's on every system. So like everyone did that.
And that's Neo 2.
Control looks
Yeah,
good.
Resident Evil 2. Yeah,
No, Neo 2. Neo 2.
Yeah, okay, but that's on PC. Like these.
Okay, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but just like everyone did that, and it was someone else from the outside. I think what what Nintendo's doing there is, indie games sell way better on Switch than anywhere else. So we're actually going to hype that up a little bit, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. But I also there was nothing that made me feel like, okay, I got to figure out how to get into the booth. I got to email PR and say, hey, can I get an appointment, or try to tag along with one of you, or wait in line. And every other year,
I played like 2 hours of Smash Brothers in total.
And like, I'm not taking anything away from that. And
because I'm very insecure.
Yeah, and Smash is going to be a huge deal for that system. And when it comes out, I will play it and I will enjoy it. I know what that game is now, and the little changes that you're really excited about,
they don't mean as much to you.
They don't mean anything to me at this point.
Sure.
But, yeah. And that's just where and that's I was disappointed. I was just like, that's kind of a bummer.
Last year at least they had ARMS, right? This year I don't.
Last year they had Mario.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I mean, but it's the same Mario. You try out the same franchise.
So this episode's over. Dean, we got to go take you out back. It's the same Mario.
The same Mario is like one of the best games ever.
Stephanie's with me.
Oh my God.
I'm with everyone else.
I'm with the rest of the planet.
I didn't grow up with Mario.
No, we're not starting this again.
Yeah, we're not starting this again.
Yeah, we're just gonna go beat up Anthony about Zelda.
Well, no one. Yeah. Here's what I get is that they have Mario Odyssey. You guys aren't happy. They have Smash Bros. You guys aren't happy. I don't know what you guys want.
Nintendo's just
Days Gone. Man.
Yeah, Nintendo's real. Like, you want Days Gone? Days Gone on Switch, and D would be happy.
Oh man, if that game was on Switch, no one would care about it. Like 0 people would care about it. Like the only reason some people care is because it's another Sony exclusive.
People like Wolfenstein, or they like the what is it? Not Wolfenstein, but Fallout.
Are you comparing Fallout to Days Gone?
I'm sorry, Skyrim on Switch, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, people like Skyrim everywhere. They've made a joke about it at Bethesda. It's on your fridge now. Like, yeah.
But it's like mature rated games are actually doing well.
Oh yeah, no, that's not what I mean. I just mean like no one would care because it's such a generic looking game anyhow. Mm-hmm. The reason some people care is because they think it's going to be another Last of Us or something. So maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that, but I do think it has unique gameplay now with the 500 zombies chasing you. Nobody else
500 days
has
of
an engine that can actually do that.
I feel like Days Gone's audience is like people who watch Sons of Anarchy and
and Dean.
It's like that.
People who watch World War Z, maybe,
yeah, and now that.
28 days later.
Does anyone else have any disappointments, anything like that?
Disappointed in all of you.
Damn.
So there.
I like Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That was another thing.
Yeah,
that's great. I don't. This was a positive.
I'm a little disappointed that say Square Enix didn't have a more surprising slate.
Yeah. No, Square Enix definitely.
They're a big company. They can make a lot of games. They have no excuse for showing up with surprises.
Yeah.
Well, it's strange because they don't usually have an E3 showcase. To have an E3 showcase, it's like saying, "Well, we got something to show you guys."
When did Nier Automata come out?
Last year.
Yeah, but like what time of last year?
Earlier, February.
Okay. So then it was a year before last that they had their last one because I remember
Nier was there.
Yeah,
that was like a surprise.
Yeah, Yoko Taro came out with his big helmet on, and so they didn't have one last year. Square Enix.
No.
Okay.
But
they took a year off. Yeah, then why come back this year with just a weird?
Even
Square
just wait
Direct.
until the inevitable Nier sequel is ready.
I guess they know they can get like eyeballs on, and they don't have to buy it. They don't have to rent a stage. They could just do a Nintendo Direct style thing. So maybe it's worth it. But I think everyone just came out confused by that one.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
We had to get up early for it. Ugh.
Now we're complaining about work. Okay. I think we can wrap this up.
We should go get ramen.
Yeah, we're gonna go eat some dinner. Real quick, anything else anyone's seen before we go? that you might want to be excited about? Maybe we could talk about that next time we all get together.
I'm seeing a new Descent of some kind.
Yeah, you were seeing that new Descent, which we haven't seen anywhere else, have we?
Yeah, I don't think it's not like a AAA game, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be. That's
no, but I'm so excited about that.
Of course, yeah.
Oh,
I did see Control again as sort of like a sort of a demo and description of it, and then it is more interesting than what I thought. I mean, it sort of seemed a little too similar to all the time travel stuff that Remedy's done before, but this is more like it's no time travel and it's more telekinesis.
Okay. I've never liked a Remedy game. I was thinking the other day. I didn't really. I played Alan Wake and I see what people like, but I
very
don't
complicated
like
story. Like if you thought
it was too confusing for me.
If you thought Quantum Break was complicated, they have a larger narrative team because this one is more complicated.
Hey, I play Kingdom Hearts. I got that.
There is no more confusing fiction other than that. Super Smash Brothers fan fiction.
That longest novel ever.
Yeah, that is the longest piece of literature in Western civilization's history. Like that's an actual fact.
That's so good.
That's the best thing.
People should respect.
Almost as good as almost as good as Waluigi was robbed.
Yeah. Did we talk about that on the podcast yesterday?
No, but people, man, yesterday
represent Gene Park.
Gene Park is a hero.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone knows that Waluigi isn't in Smash Brothers. And once again, he appears in the trailer so they could say he's not and just kind of laugh at him a little bit. And then Gene Park, who is basically the social editor for Washington Post, he's a game guy. He's on Twitter. He was on the Mario panel with me at PAX. He writes, Waluigi was humiliated, robbed and humiliated, and his fans are furious. And it was one of the top stories on Washington Post.
Right, because like their stories appear on that page based on their popularity. So it's like Donald Trump meets Kim Jong-un. Also, Waluigi's not in Smash Brothers.
And it's just this
Washington Post is so good.
And it's not just the headlines; it's a picture of Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, and then Waluigi in a puddle.
Doll.
In a puddle. And it's just
it was my everything. It was my everything.
And it was like the biggest response yesterday from E3 was for that story. Like Funny or Die was retweeting it. Everyone was
yeah. It's perfect.
So yeah, we're gonna go eat and laugh about Waluigi on the Washington Post a little bit more. So thanks for listening, guys. I will do something tomorrow night.
And don't forget about Total War 3 Kingdoms.
I'm gonna forget about Total War 3 Kingdoms.
I'm so confused. It's so confusing because it's Total War 3 Kingdoms, Fire Emblem 3 something else's.
Three
houses. 3 houses.
Yeah.
3 houses.
I think I've been saying 3 Kingdoms ever since the
I think everyone has been.
Yeah. Okay.
I might have written my story as 3 Kingdoms. I'm scared now to look at it again.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. We're wrapping up, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow with something. Until then, GamesBeat.com. You can get more from us and see all our stories. And then Twitter.com/GamesBeat. We'll be retweeting each of us if you guys want to follow us or anything.
Bye, Nyber. We're not fighting anymore.
Oh, you guys
We're
made
friends
up.
now. Yeah.
It's a good ending. Happy ending. All right. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye. Hey, ramen.